What's up, everybody? Thought I'd check in with you guys. I wouldn't be a Rusty 411 video without a train in the background. Just want to let y'all know where I've been and the deal with the homestead. You guys that follow my channel know that I moved on the homestead out there and did a lot of work out there and all that stuff. Well, it turned out that I wanted something different in my life, and me and Jennifer decided that we needed to part ways, and that's what we did. And I moved to Georgia, and I've been wheeling Betty this last year, and hadn't had any problems out of it, really. I mean, I got some issues now that we need to do, and I'm gonna start making some videos here and there fixing her back up. But the first thing we got to do is my Rad Design rock shifter. It's been in here for 2 or 3 years now. It hadn't given me any issues. There's micro switches in there, and it's stuck in 4th gear. So the last trail ride it did that. So I've been we just pulled it down in 1st and manually shifted it all weekend until we got back home, and now we got to fix this, run that down and see what's going on with that, repair that. And also, last trip out, there might have been alcohol involved in some of this, but broke the cylinder off the steering, bent the steering back to the springs, and I ran the winch down around another Jeep's axle back to this one here, and pulled that back out straight where we could use it, where we could drive it. This bent back pretty good, and it lasted the rest of the weekend and didn't give me any troubles. Usually if you bend these back on a stock bar, it'll just keep bending on you, you know, on the stock setup. But this here, it held up. Got lucky. We're still gonna pull it off, and I'm gonna check it out and might reinforce it or something. But this bar right here is almost solid. I mean, there's a tiny hole through the middle of it, so it's pretty strong. But we hit a stump, broke that off. It broke off right at the threads. So what I ended up having to do, I didn't have any plugs to plug this off, which I will from now on. I had to take an old beer can and I smushed it and put it right here like that, and run a ratchet strap around the whole thing to hold it from coming out, and it worked, and where I could drive it the rest of the weekend. Because with this disconnected like this, the steering was all crazy. But we did that. We drove it for 2 more days like that in the woods and didn't have any more problems out of it. My cousin that rides with me, that I gave the 36s to off of Betty, he put 38s on his and copied all of our bump stops and everything. He just took Betty over there and kept it for 2 weeks, and he basically did his the same way this is. So it's the same lift now all on his, but he's still got the factory gears in his, and it's not like in the 38s at all. So I'm taking the 456s out of here. We're going to put them in his Jeep, and I'm going to buy a set of 513 gears, and we're going to put in Betty and do that upgrade to it. The winch has been holding up good. I hadn't had any problems out of any of this stuff. All this stuff's still working good. I just been wheeling it, guys, for the last 1.5 years, and I'm sorry I hadn't made any videos, but you know, I just got to a point where I'd made videos for, I think we made videos for 3 or 4 years, and built this whole entire Jeep on the channel, and I just needed the time to enjoy her. And Betty led me to the love of my life. She's in the house in there, and I'm going to be remarried before long, and to a girl that loves Jeeping. I met her in the woods, actually on a Jeep ride, and I had to replace the battery. It went bad, and everything's held up good. Everything we did to the Jeep, I know there's a lot of comments over the years that it's never going to work and all that kind of stuff with these big tires, but man, it has done so good. Now, I'm in the South and we don't ride rocks, we ride mud. I've said that 100 times, so that's probably why she holds up the way she does. But I'm in Georgia now. There's no Jeep trails up here, but there is some rocks around here and some other things like that. So we're going to take her to what they call the rocks here in Georgia and try it out when we get the 513 gears in it. Now with the 513s, when I set this thing up, I kind of matched the tire size for the gear ratio to bring it back to stock. So it had power. It's got power. I mean, it'll spin these tires like crazy, but you know, it's going to have a lot more torque with a 513 in there. So it may break something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as far as sitting here now, it has did nothing but go. And this thing's a beast in the mud. It don't care. It just goes. We did break the front end one time. It bent the carrier. But I got a trick I want to do to that. I'm going to put, when we take the carrier out to change the gear ratio again, those big holes in an open carrier, we're going to weld a plate of some sort in there to stiffen that whole thing up. Yes, it'll trap the lunchbox locker in there, but I don't care. If it ever breaks it or whatever, I'll just cut it out of there or just get a different carrier. If it bends it again, I'm going to get a different carrier, something that's stronger. But we haven't developed any axle leaks or anything. And also, my little pack, my battery pack back here in the back that I use for camping, and it's got my inverter. I had to replace a battery on it. I did have to do that. But we went on a camping trip, and there was 3 of us in the summer, and my battery pack back here, I'll show y'all. I mean, I know it's been a long time, but it ran fans in 3 tents all night long. So that's all worked out well when we did that. But I don't have any complaints about the Jeep and what we did to it. It all worked. And because we took time and meticulously done everything, and we didn't half-ass nothing, so it held up. I mean, we get the 513 gears in there, it's probably going to do a lot better than it does now. And I'm eventually still want to put a turbo on this thing. I got to do some research and see how I can retard the time, and I think I'm going to, when I do it, I think I'm going to move I'm going to oblong the holes in the crank sensor where I can retard the timing a little bit, because they don't really make a way to tune this thing. But we're not going to go crazy with boost or anything like that, because it's still, the rings ain't been gapped. It's a stock engine. If we get 5-6 pounds on it, it'll be something you do. I just want to do it because I've never, you know, attempted to turbo a Jeep yet, and I want to do it. Plus it sounds cool, and I want to run the exhaust out right here with a bullet muffler inside there, something that keeps it quiet. But I'm gonna put the exhaust right here and get all this out from under here, dragging on stuff, catching on stuff. And I have been through a couple drive shafts, those, you know, those joints, those CV joints in here, that ball socket deal inside here, it wears out on it. I got like 3 or 4 of them. The socket's still on there. That's another thing I want to do. I know I'm all under the Jeep, but see how Rough Country did this to where you got to take everything out to get the transmission out? I want to come up in here somewhere, maybe over here or whatever, right here, somewhere up in here, over here, and cut this and fabricate it where I can get the transmission out if I have to, without having to take all that stuff out. But all this, this is Iron Rock Off-Road Hack and Tap. We've had that in there for 2 or 3 years, and everything has held up. See how I got all my HVAC stuff, my gas tank stuff all sealed up. Keeps the engine light on, but I don't care. But we have we built a monster when we built this thing. Yeah, it's still on the stock Dana 30 in the front and 825 in the back, but it definitely has worked. She needs a starter on her too. I gotta do that. But I'm sorry it's been so long, guys. I really ain't had nothing to do to it. I could have made trail ride videos, but you know, I worked on it for all them years, and every time I went out was an experiment, and I was testing this and testing that. I never really got to just go out and enjoy the Jeep, and I have did that for the last year. About everybody that I used to ride with quit riding, and it's just basically me and Kevin now. And there's some Jeep people up here in Florida that I've met, in Georgia, but they don't have anywhere to ride like we do in Florida. So we load the Jeeps up and we go back to the forest is what we do. We just went a couple weekends ago. I'll take y'all in here and show you my little shop. Anything else I want to say about this before we walk away? I'm thinking about taking the roof rack off because it's heavy and I don't use it. The only thing it's really doing is holding my lights, and it gets caught on everything like limbs and vines and stuff, and it's just I think it's got to go. Other than that, I want to get some weight off of it, but I really don't have any other way to get weight off of it. This stuff is cool, this armor, but it's heavy. Comparing to my cousin's Jeep that don't have it all on there, I pulled both of them with my truck. This one's a lot heavier, which my tires are bigger, and there's a lot more metal on this thing, my bumpers and the winch and stuff like that. But also, I think we're going to lift it up a couple more inches. These are adjustable, and being I got the the anti-wrap bar on there to keep it from twisting up, I think I'm just going to put 2-inch blocks on it because it'd be the cheapest way to go. I just want to get this distance a little bit further. It's not hitting or anything, but the more weight and stuff I get in it, like when I'm hot, people riding with me, that's how much I got to the bump stop. So kind of want to get it a little bit higher up, and plus it'll get it up out of the water more. And when you're playing in the mud, the taller it is, the better. But I don't want to get it too tall where it's wanting to flip over and stuff, just a little bit. Anyway, that's about it though. We need to fix the brakes. It's got to be done. We're going to change the gears. I got a new cylinder. We're going to put that on there and change the oil in the transmission and all that stuff, and the engine and the diffs, and get it all ready to go. And when I go out again, I've already spoke to Kevin, my cousin, and we're going to make some videos. I bought a new tripod for my camera so we can do stuff around the Jeep, and I'm just getting geared up to get back on this thing. I'm settled now. When I was single and running wild, you know how it is, you don't got time for nothing but what you want to do. And I hate to leave you guys in the dark, but I just didn't want to talk about it at the time, and I just wanted to do my thing, and that's what I did. Did some traveling and went places I hadn't ever been before. Just took off on the weekends and just went and did things. I've had Betty and all kind of different trails and riverbeds and stuff since I've made a YouTube video. And there's a Lappahaw river basin here that they ride. I'm gonna make a video there one day. It's pretty cool. It's all sand and hills and stuff, but it's pretty neat. It's a riverbed that dries up, and everybody goes there and rides Jeeps on it. I'm gonna take this off. This has got to go. I don't use it anymore anyway. We got those little handheld radios, so I think I'm gonna put something else here. I don't know, maybe a light bar or something, or one of them light sticks. Other than that, Betty's held up. I'm proud of her, and I really appreciate all you guys checking on me. I've had so many comments of you guys wondering where I'm at, and we're getting new subscribers every day, even though I haven't made videos. And I never really thought that the channel would get to 1,000 subscribers, but we got like 12,600 now, and people are really interested in the XJ, which for a good reason. It's a good Jeep. I actually built the rear end in that TJ out there. That's gonna be my new son-in-law's. That's my new son-in-law's Jeep. We built that. That's a Dana 35 in there. I showed him how to do it. He's a mechanic and he likes Jeeps, and it's all good here. I'll show y'all this little shop I got. Been building. I built this thing here for my sweetheart. This wall. That's Maggie. Maggie's noisy. This is my little shop. Ain't much bigger than what I had before. I'm used to having a little shop. Word of advice: if you ever buy a lathe, make sure you're never ever gonna have to move it, because it is a pain in the butt to move these things. It doesn't look that heavy, but it is super heavy. My tractor, I have to have somebody stand on the bush hog of the tractor just to pick the lathe up by itself without the stands or anything. It's heavy as heck. I ended up I couldn't figure out how to get it from out there through that door into here. I had no way to do it. I mean, it's so damn heavy. This weighs almost 1,500 pounds by itself. So what I ended up doing was lifted it up out there with the tractor, bolted it to the stands, took the wheels off of my jack, those wheels there, and bolted on one end of it, and then underneath it where it bolts to the floor, and then did the same thing on that side with another jack wheels and rolled it in here, and then jacked it up and set it down right here. I've been doing throttle bodies again. If anybody, I've had questions about the throttle bodies, if I'm still doing them. I am still doing them. If you guys want one of them done, I bore it out to 62 millimeter. I turned the throttle shaft down to give it more airflow there. Most people cut that one side off and then bolt the plate straight to it, but I don't really trust that. So what I do is I turn it down. I turn the shaft down on both sides the width of that, so it gives it a little bit more airflow. But if anybody wants this done, I do it for $75, and that's boring it out and resealing the ends, the bearings, like I showed y'all in that one video. Reseal that, and if you want it painted and all that stuff, I can do it, but it really don't do anything. And 75 bucks. Send me a message if you want it done. You can send me your throttle body. It won't take me but a day or so to get it done, and I'll ship it back. But it's my little shop. All my stuff back here in the corner. And right now I'm sharing it with the laundry, because I have a new washer and dryer inside the house, but I have to hook it all up still. So when I get that hooked up, that'll be gone. This will all be gone, and I can kind of lay my stuff out back there. And just like my old spot, I don't really have anywhere to work on the Jeep, but past that wall there's a carport that runs out about 12 feet. We're going to end up having to buy some trailer tires for the Jeep, bolt the trailer tires on the Jeep, take the big ones off where I can drive it under there, because it won't even fit, but just the hood up under there. The thing's bigger than you think it is. When you see it in person, you're like, shit, you know. It's tall. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing good, and I've missed everybody, and hopefully we can start making videos again on the Jeep. We're going to continue making her a beast. But y'all take it easy, and I'll see you soon. I may order the gears in a couple weeks, and when I get those in, I got a new tripod for my camera and all that stuff where I can video stuff by myself, and we'll tear that thing down and put the 513s in it. I'm scared to see what it looks like. I bet the pinion's gonna be about this big, because I know a 488 is small, but we're gonna put it in there and let it rip and see what happens. But y'all take it easy, and I'll see y'all soon. Have a good one. Bye.